How's it going?
Good. So we're live, and for our viewers, we did make a change. We announced we were going to do it last week. Basically, instead of doing this every morning, we're going to come live during the actual market session twice a week, most likely Mondays and Thursdays at this time. And I think it'll be better because we'll be able to talk about what's actually going on and trades that we're either in or trades that we're doing. So, and I think it'll actually be way more educational for our viewers just because, like I just said, we'll talk about what's actually going on. So to jump into it, Dad, I actually wanted to go over something with you here. So for our viewers, Palantir has been a big trade for me. I've been in since 15 and change, and I've sold some along the way. It got up to over 30. I've been selling call options against my position, which what that means is I'm agreeing to sell the stock if it closes above a certain point on a certain day. And with that, I'm collecting a premium. So I'm getting paid additional money and I'm agreeing to sell the stock. And Dad, so what's going on right now? As you know, I had that killer one last week that I ended up closing out of, which worked great. And then I did another one, which was the January 21st, $25 calls. And obviously those are taking a hit today because the stock's up nice. And my thought is I'm thinking about closing it out, taking the losses on it, which will give me the tax break, and then selling the 28 strike call options for January 15th on Palantir. They're trading at 430 right now. So I'd be basically getting out at 32. Right now the stock's at 28. So that would give me a 20% move in about a month. And I'd be taking some losses against the taxes, which is good. So I'd pay less in taxes for my gains. And right now, just to give you a handle, the option that I currently have, which is the $25 options, trading at $550, and I bought it at $379. So, I'd be – do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's splitting hairs, really, because you're basically putting on the same position with a little more room, right?
Yeah.
And taking the loss this month. It's okay.
Yeah, because I'd be basically getting out at around the same levels either way. No, actually, on one I'd be getting out at 28.79. That's the one I have now, and the other one I'd be getting out over 32.
Right, but the new one will be a little riskier.
The dollar difference. Yeah. So we'll have to look more about that. So yeah, I mean, look, the electric vehicle stocks are on fire again. I'm actually long LAZR laser trade right now from 36.50, and I'm kind of just giving it down to really just around 37.50 because it's already a winner for me. I already took some off, but I think it can get to day's highs, which would be just under 40. So I have another.
I actually bought some also, and I've been buying like 100 at a time just to feel my way in, kind of.
I'm not going hard on this either.
No.
It's so all over the place. But for our viewers,
do you like the 35 3/4 level? It seems if it gets back down there, as long as it doesn't go through it.
35 3/4. I mean, I'm really not thinking it's getting back down there. And if it does, I won't be in it anymore. I think,
but if you're not in it anymore, that would be another level.
I have a 35.55 buy order if it dips to that.
Yeah, see, if it dips to that, I'll be wicked out of the trade. At this point, I'm looking for an afternoon breakout to all-time highs again.
Into the 40s, right?
Yeah, or just shy of it. Like I have an order just under 40 in case it gets there. We'll see what happens. But for our viewers, this stock, Luminar Technologies, it's crazy. They went public via special acquisition, so a SPAC last week, and they're basically an autonomous vehicle play. They're making this laser technology to try and compete with Tesla, and it's a different way of doing it. Tesla has their own way of doing it, which a lot of people are saying is irresponsible and not safe, and these guys are doing it in a way that seems to be the correct way to do it. I obviously don't know, but I do know that they have over $1 billion booked in contracts with a lot of the big automobile companies. And the CEO is this young guy, he's in his young 20s. The stock ticker is LAZR, and it's been a hell of a day trade. not just today, but the last few days. And, the other electric vehicle companies, unfortunately, we were talking about Fisker earlier. That's FSR.
Yeah, I already took my loss on that. I went long earlier and sold it out because it just wasn't acting well. And basically took that money and went into the LAZR. So
smart move. Yeah. I mean, Fisker looks like it's hanging at these 17 levels by a thread. And that's another company that I don't want to say is like Nikola in the sense that it's fluff. They have contracts and whatnot, but there's this new concept floating around where these companies are not trying to produce the car themselves and just bring concepts around. And I don't really know if it's going to pan out, but that's what Fisker's doing. And then Tesla, I mean, this was a trade I took early on, and unfortunately I'm all out of it right now, but I played 606 break and I took my final bid out at 620, and this thing's at 626 and change now. It's unbelievable what's gone on with Tesla. I mean, it's, I think, not good, and it's bound for a big correction, but I don't think anyone's got the guts to step in front of it and try and enforce that correction. But this thing, basically went in a straight line from 400 to where it's at right now, 626. It's really incredible. And those are kind of the stocks I'm looking at today. The electric vehicle companies. That's it. Obviously, Ride.
We always talk about Boeing. Just for a minute, I mean, Boeing kind of announced they were talking about doing a secondary, and the stock kind of paused on Friday, and today it took off again. And I took that advantage to sell a little bit, and I just sold the January 22nd 250 calls at 16. And the stock's at 242 and change.
That's a great move.
I'm happy to sell the stock at, that's equivalent to 266.
Dad, so, what was the play you did? I might jump on that with you.
Well, you can buy Boeing right here.
I already have.
Where's Boeing right now? 242.15, say. And you could sell the January 22nd, that's the day of the expiration, the 250 strike, and pick up 15 points of premium.
It's an incredible deal. I'm doing that.
So, I mean, it's just a nice position to have on.
I just sold those options. Great call.
All right. If you already own the stock, it's a great call to sell. Yeah, the stock might go to 260. It has to go to 266 for you to start, not making money on that, basically. You're locked in right up until there. Or it gives you protection down to 225, 226.
Yeah, I mean,
if you own the stock, it's almost a no-brainer to sell the option there.
I'd say so. That's a good move. Good find there.
Let's talk about the psychedelic stocks here. MMEDF over $2. Been in that since 42 cents. Compass Pathways is now trading over $53. It's been very volatile even today. But for our viewers, that there's been a lot of talk about Biden in office, the cannabis stocks. This is the play, is psychedelics. We've been talking about this for months now. This narrative is just going to keep picking up steam, and you'll see a pattern of these stocks pulling back and then reaching new time highs, pulling back, reaching new time highs. That's going to continue. So if you're not already in this, give those a look because, and Dan, another one, we've been big on talking about is GME, which is GameStop. Their earnings are tomorrow. I loaded up here this morning at the 1660 levels and waiting to see what happens. I mean, I think when push comes to shove, the Chewy founder, Ryan Cohen, has a huge stake in GameStop now. He's trying to turn them into the Amazon of gaming. And I would not bet against this guy personally. I think from what we're seeing with the lockdown and the game console sales, I'm expecting this stock to act well. Looking at the option activity, looking at some of these analysts, it seems like there were a lot of bears the last few months on this stock, and it seems like it's starting to have a new narrative heading into this new year. So I have my eyes on GME. I also bought some Salesforce last week before earnings. Unfortunately, it dipped. It's starting to rally back. That Slack deal, I think the street is digesting it a bit. As it keeps getting digested, like Dad always talks about the 3-day rule after positive or negative earnings. CRM had good earnings. I think their stock went down because people thought they overbought Slack, overpaid for it. They didn't, which I think people are starting to realize now. And I think CRM is a great buy here. If you don't already own it, I actually bought a little more this morning to cushion my position. I don't see that stock going anywhere but up besides a big pullback in the market.
Yeah, I mean, those are all good picks, and you've been dead on with this shroom boom. It's unbelievable what those stocks have done. I'm in them both now, really tiny positions, but at least really tiny positions. But in saying that, when you have a stock like MMEDF and on good days, it's up double-digit percentage-wise, it adds up. So that's
Totally
been awesome. Yeah, for sure. And then, the market last night, the futures opened up and then they reversed. And the market is not that great today. Tech's up a little bit, but the futures have been steadily going down since we started talking here. And it wouldn't surprise me if this afternoon they go down a lot more. I mean, the market's been on an insane rally. And unless it's just going to go up every single day through the new year, it would make sense for a pullback. And
I think we're going to have a midweek pullback. I could be way wrong, but I'm expecting some choppy waters here Wednesday and Thursday, possibly. I just think we have everything's been so just up. It's great. But I do think there'll be an end of the year rally. But I think before that, we're going to see some hiccups. If not, I'll actually be concerned. I'd like to see a pullback here.
A lot of the stocks that have been under accumulation recently are selling off here, which is healthy. And those are stocks you probably should look at to add to at some point.
So like a BABA?
Well, no, I'm actually thinking more of like Ford, which has kind of been hanging out for a week or so. And it's only off 10 cents off of a delay in the Bronco due to COVID. But if that falls any more, I think it's under such accumulation that you'll be okay with that. Like if you could pick that up around 9 or even 9.10, that might be a good level. And BABA has got this Chinese situation going where there's delisting talk of some of the names. Same thing, you use weakness to buy that one, but that is not one that's under accumulation right now. That's probably under distribution. But like BHP, which we've mentioned before, that's having an off day. Some of the oils, the banks, this is a breather. And, these could be stocks to be looking at, if they fall any further for, adding to position if you already own it.
And, like Dad's taught us, Dan, and I've had people text to me all morning, like, what do you think I should get in now? There's always more opportunities. I know we live in this world, and I fall victim to this all the time when I was with you guys last week, thinking you're missing out on something. There's always times, as we've seen, days, things will climb, and then there's a huge correction, and all of a sudden levels fall. So it's not like you just need to jump on something here because everyone's making money, it seems like. That's usually an indication that you should take a breath and wait. If you're not in some of these stocks that you want to be in, you'll have a chance at lower levels. It always happens. And it's usually when everyone thinks they have to just throw a dart at the wall to make money. Which
I was reading last night, that's how Isaac Newton lost all of his money in the South China Sea market bubble. There was this whole thing about it. Yeah, it was actually kind of interesting.
I've had too many people texting me this morning like, oh, I need to get on something now. It makes me want to get out of all my stocks for the next 48 hours.
Yeah, I know. But Dad kind of makes an interesting point, and it's something that no one ever really talks about. It's always, are we going to see a huge rally or a huge correction? But there's that middle ground where you could just get stocks that cool off and they don't necessarily drop like rocks and, go into correction mode, but they give you a couple weeks of not doing much before the next leg of the rally. And that would be not a correction. It wouldn't be a rally. It would just be nothing.
So do you guys, let's talk, do you think a day like this is a good buying opportunity in oil, for example, or banks? Because I know that, we've talked about that on this show, that they have not been, over the last year, as we all know, they've been the laggards. And do you think this is an opportunity to play that game, or better off holding off?
I'm personally, and then I'll hand it to Dad because I'm sure that's what our viewers want to hear more. But I'll tell you, I'm not buying anything at these levels except for day trades. I'm looking for opportunities to do the opposite, actually, and maybe try and find some stocks that, if there was a correction, might really see the biggest of the correction, and maybe start to build little short positions on them. Because I don't know, I can't justify buying anything up here with what the market's done, really, in any stock until there's a pullback.
Yeah, that we talked about the 10-year bond quite a bit. It's in yield today. It's dropped about 4%. And that's one of the reasons you see the banks are weak today. And it's also one of the reasons you see a stock like Apple is up. As crazy as that sounds, there's a correlation between low interest rates and high PE ratios. And Apple, which is at the highest PE ratio it's been in years, is always getting a boost when rates drop. And that's something that's been going on for quite some time. And I've been reading articles about that lately, that people are really starting to hitch to that concept. So there's probably automatic trading going on. Sell the banks when the yield goes down, buy Apple.
So do you like Apple then, Dad? I know you mentioned last year you liked them for an end of the year rally.
Yeah, I do. I think Apple is acting like it should for the end of the year. It's having a good day today.
Dad, our viewer wants to know, is that a DDT?
Yeah, far from it. We see you on the chat, and yes, it is. He got it for his birthday. He's a big Dave Portnoy fan, and DDT, baby.
Bob is the rich man's Dave Portnoy.
No, Dave Portnoy is the rich man. Dave Portnoy.
Maybe we'll get Davey on the show one of these days.
But so yeah, I mean, as far as any afternoon trades go, I always have my eye on Twilio and Fastly. Obviously, there was that Fastly news that broke on Friday. Not news, rumor. Fastly went up to, I think it was 96 and change or 97 on a rumor of a takeover from Cisco. And there hasn't been any talks confirmed either way.
But I was telling Dad, Dan, this could be a good opportunity to load up on Fastly. There was a rumor, it's gone. It seems like it's sold off because of the rumor being gone. But a lot of times rumors have merit behind them. Someone randomly was like, oh, you hear Fastly's getting bought just for the hell of it? I find that hard to believe.
And look, the way I look at it is whether or not Fastly is getting bought or not, that stock, I think, is heading back over 100. And it seems like there's Fastly holders that don't even want them to get acquired because they believe in the long-term story.
That's what makes me like the stock here, is when I hear, oh, I hope they don't get bought. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just jump back in this.
The one I'm really watching today is Spotify. I mean, what is the rumor there?
Oh, man.
Stock that's been in
I don't think there's
line.
any rumor. I think we know where the world is now. Podcasting has gone on a whole new level from this lockdown, and they have set themselves up.
Do you hear anyone talking about this name, though?
I will say that, Joe Rogan officially started his full-time podcast on Amazon or on Spotify. That started today. It was obviously already announced. But as of today, the only way to listen to the Joe Rogan show, which is the #1 podcast in the world, is on Spotify. And clearly, that's something that they're trying to do more of. So, but I don't know what is going on. It's unbelievable.
I mean, the stock is in a straight line from 100 points ago.
Yeah, I sold that one prematurely.
All-time high, Spotify.
And far from it, congrats on your new Amazon job. That's exciting. So
nice job, buddy. That's awesome.
Hell of a company.
I'll buy some Amazon to celebrate here with you. I was actually thinking about buying more this morning. So
who's that?
That's one of our viewers. I will say, if there is some sort of correction in the market, I'm definitely looking at the Microsofts, Amazons, Facebooks of the world.
I'm loving Amazon at these levels. I really am. I've been watching it now for about a week, wanting to pull the trigger on. I obviously am long a good amount of Amazon, but it seems like the way that stock's acted the last few years, this is setting up for a good buying opportunity for them. we're heading into full-on holiday season here. We know what they're doing. There's no secret there. And the stock hasn't acted great the last couple months. It's been kind of a laggard. Will Amazon go for a split anytime soon? I don't know. I don't know if that's happening.
You guys see, like DraftKings, nothing new here. DraftKings is such a buy at these levels. Anytime it gets down to these levels, it doesn't stay there long. And at least for now, it's a sell anytime it gets above 50. They got more upgrades this morning. I think JP Morgan gave them an upgrade.
I'm long a few hundred shares of DraftKings. I'm just always, when I'm about to buy more, something's making me hold back.
You just buy a little bit at a time, every $0.75 down, and wait for it to start going the other way.
And then, Lyft got an upgrade this morning, and Uber's selling off a little bit. Lyft is up a little, but nothing crazy. And
could be a good time to buy Uber.
DoorDash IPOs tomorrow, and Airbnb IPOs Thursday.
Airbnb, I will be buying at the open of the IPO. I will not be touching DoorDash. I think Airbnb is the real winner there, at least short term. Out of those two,
I kind of think they're both winners, and
I think DoorDash will be a winner long term. I think their IPO is going to be a bit rich.
Dad, do you think there's any chance Fisker makes an afternoon run? It's kind of
it could. I mean, as you said, the volume has not been great in it. So, where's NEO now? Is NEO down?
NEO is up at 45.28.
Yeah, so.
And then Ride, which is Lordstown Motors, they're really getting hurt today. They're down 11%. The one that was interesting, actually, was XPeng, which is XPEV, because they did the offering of a ton of shares that they announced this morning. It seems like people are just eating it up.
Yeah, it's really difficult to say what's going on in Fisker. It's not acting great.
It's not. And neither is the market.
What continues to baffle me is U.S. Steel is just on a run I don't think it's ever seen.
Yeah, a run that I completely missed out on. Yeah, you've been talking about them since they were, at 7?
Which one?
U.S. Steel.
Yeah, a long time. But I'm completely out now, and anyone who's still in, congratulations.
Sean Connell, Mr. Betting on the Giants, who I haven't lost since.
But GE is acting phenomenal, and I think that's going higher.
I just bought 50 shares at DraftKings here.
Nice.
Dan, you triggered me on that one.
Listen, I got to trigger myself next time it's above 50 to actually sell the call options. Every time it gets there, I'm like, okay, this is finally the time that it's going to officially break through and not get back down under 50. And every time it goes back down under 50.
You know what's really come off a lot is McDonald's.
Yeah, I was looking at that this morning. I'm going to be a buyer of McDonald's here pretty soon. It's getting sexy. I don't know what's going on there, but they're not going to stop selling Big Macs.
Short kind of broke. I mean, I think I wouldn't look at it till 201, maybe 202.
Yeah, and Dad, another thing that's kind of not breaking out today, but on the up and up is gold.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about that. It's also kind of a somewhat hedge against a falling market.
Yeah, I'm tempted to add more gold. I think it's at such a key support level that, if it breaks it, whatever, I'll get out. But
it's also a good way to play the falling yields because people always equate gold with falling yields. So
maybe it's time for me to be a holder of that.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you hate gold. You're all about Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing today?
Let's see.
GBTC fell off, so I'm sure Bitcoin sold a bit. It's down. It's at 19,000.
Still holding those levels, pretty damn good. And the other stock that I bring up pretty periodically that Mike you own now that just will not stop going up, Snapchat.
I do not own them right now. I sold them last week.
Well,
Well,
yes,
I'll be back in Snapchat soon.
Snapchat.
My thing is like Snapchat and Pinterest. I love both of them. I want to get those on a market correction.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time jumping the gun on those right here.
yeah.
So you could wait.
Yeah.
What about your CrowdStrike, Dan? That's up a bit today.
Well, yeah, that was just a trade last week. I was just playing the second day after earnings, figuring there'd be a follow through. And
Zillow is acting well today. I know we're both holders of that, Dan. That's
but back to the CrowdStrike thing real quick. I'm annoyed because I had it on my watch list and I saw it was red this morning, and I should have been in this trade again once it broke out because, Dad, you say the 3-day rule. Well, today's the third day, and it's yet again up. So, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed at myself because I was all over that Friday and just kind of forgot about it today. Can't be in them all, though.
No, that's for
Right.
sure.
Zillow is acting great. Trades on such light volume all the time. I don't really know why. But
it just seems like it's getting ready to hit all new highs and break out again. You know how this stock acts. It hits new highs, then pulls back for a couple months, goes in a holding pattern, and then soars. So this thing, I wouldn't be shocked if this goes north of 120 here soon.
yeah, the Vuji was up.
Old high is what, 119 and change?
I think so.
Let's see here.
Yeah, 120, 125 back at the beginning of November. And that's the thing. I don't see any negative catalyst for Zillow here. When you look at what's going on in the world with housing, it works to their advantage any way you spin it. Like, I can't think of a problem there. People are moving around. They're on this platform 24/7. Everyone I know and their mother has been on Zillow in the past month.
Well, yeah, it just boils down to whether or not this hot market keeps up or if people start to just look at things differently.
Well, like that stock, though, we've talked about, Dan and Lane, they've flown under the radar. It's like no one ever talks about them for some reason, which is interesting.
100%.
I always like that. How's Ericsson Technologies looking today? I know that's a 5G play. You guys know I've been in and out of. I'm getting ready to jump back in that stock because I think they're going to be a growth story here heading into the new year.
I thought you bought them last week. You tell me.
I bought them for a swing trade.
What about Beyond Meat? What are they doing today?
I think Beyond Meat's looking at like a good buy again. It's fallen a bit the last couple of days. It's down to 136.88.
By the way, Compass just made a 52-week high.
Wow, that thing is popping like crazy.
Yeah, I wish I owned a more serious amount.
I mean, Dan, that was down below $50 earlier. You could probably get in this afternoon.
All right, well, that's all I got. Actually, that's all the trading I'm probably going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing some calls for the business before our podcast.
Boom, baby. Let's go.
I got some limits set. Hopefully they hit. And I honestly had a great morning on the Tesla stuff, so I'm feeling pretty damn good. I don't need to do anything else today. And
Oh, GME to get its shit together here. I'm getting sick of this. I'm not liking their I'm starting to think I might just go extinct from owning this stock.
Did you hold on to a couple of thousand, Dan, after your sale of the Tesla?
very funny.
Yeah, we kind of kid around because Danny seems to take bigger positions.
Dan throws $1 million on every day trade he does and then limits himself and gets out, when he makes a quick 50G in 3 minutes.
That's basically how it works.
Yeah.
Take on big sizes, small risk, but big position.
That's why I'm not going to be working much longer. Dan has my retirement taken care of.
All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our new time slot. And
you'll see our mugs, me and Dan, on our podcast here in a couple hours.
Yeah, let's go.
Rolland Market Mashup. Is it Rolland Boys Market Mashup?
No, it's Rolland Market Mashup. Rolland Market Mashup.
Subscribe.